Good morning everyone, and welcome to this horrible backlit exposure, and also me holding tape because I taped my phone to my door frame so that I wouldn't have to hold it this time. I'm smart, right? So last night, this morning, someone asked me about my begonias, which I have here in front of me, because they look so good, and I seem to have decent luck with them outside. But I did have good luck with them inside as well, and she's just like, how do you take care of your begonias, because I don't have good luck with them. So today I'm going to do a short upload on how I care for my begonias. Like a preface, I'm not an expert at begonias. I haven't had any of my begonias for a full season, so I'm not like 100% sure on any of this. This is what has worked for me, and in what in my experience has been successful. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that I consider a Begonia Care tip is they like a lot more light than what garden centers will give them credit for. Whenever I worked in a garden center, we sold begonias as a shade plant, and while that's true, they can withstand a couple hours of direct sunlight. Not to say to put them in your intense western windows, but like an east window or a south window is perfectly fine for a begonia. In fact, I have mine on my porch right here, which is facing east and has like north over there and south over there. And granted, my south is not as intense as most people's south exposure because I have trees lining over there. I'll insert a clip of that. This is my southern exposure. You can see it's covered in trees. So it acts a lot like a northern exposure. And my northern exposure, you can see my old house over there. There's a white, that's my old house, and it reflects the southern light back into my house. So it acts like a southern window, if that isn't the funniest thing ever. Begonias do like a decent amount of light, especially if you want them to bloom. Because blooming requires more energy, which means they need to photosynthesize a little bit more, get that energy going, you know how science works. So the next thing that I found is really important with begonias is they like a smaller pot. So like this is one of my cane begonias. This is a Sophia. I didn't repot this one yet, and it's still like really happy. I'm training this one to grow to be like a tree, so I have a couple little guys that I have to clip off here. But he's in still his 4-inch pot, his nursery pot, local nurseries, yay. And he's doing really well. I did have some sort of bug come through here and nibble on them, but that's to be expected when you're outside in the middle of August in southern Indiana. So, but like my Begonia maculata whitei is still in his pot, and he is just loving it. He's chilling, throwing out some blooms. I don't know if you can see those. One of them is open. Yeah, oh, you can see that really well. So yeah, and I still have him in this little pot here. So another thing that I found with my begonias is that they don't like changes in temperature. So I had them in air conditioning, and they definitely did not like that. They don't like it too cold. They would prefer a little bit, like a stable, higher temperature. The cold is very sensitive to these guys. One that I found really affected by the cold was this begonia. This is a My Special Angel begonia. And he really did not like it in my living room right next to my air conditioner. And that also plays into begonias like a little bit more humidity. So in August, especially July, August, September in southern Indiana, it is like incredibly humid. Like it's kind of surprising if we get below 70% humidity outside. So I put my begonias outside just because I have calathea and I only have one humidifier. So I used my humidifier for my calathea, and then I'm going to buy another humidifier for the winter for all my begonias. But they really like that stable, warm temperature with lots of humidity. And I think the humidity is a big one for most people, because my begonias right now are thriving at like 80% humidity. So if you translate that inside, you're basically going to have mold. So it's a little bit difficult. I just made muffins, and I remembered I brought one out for myself. I'm excited. Okay, so another thing that I found really helpful with begonias, and I will use this guy and my Frosty, because I haven't shown him yet, and it's boring to see the same plant over and over, is that a lot of people will say that begonias don't like to be dry, and they don't like to be wet. The perfect watering regimen that I found, especially with them outside, is to let the pot dry out all the way through, but don't let it stay dry, if that makes sense. So like, if you, right now, I'll just pull him out. This guy is like moist at the bottom, so I'll probably water him tomorrow, because I'm not going to let him stay or get super dry. But my Frosty begonia, if you can see in there, is pretty wet because I just watered him a couple of days ago. And this also tells me that I should probably pot this guy in a little bit bigger of a pot. No, this guy's happy in his pot size, just because he's using a little bit, this one is using a little bit more water. That's a huge tip on when to know to repot your plants or up-pot your plants, is when they're going through water like crazy and you feel like you're watering every day. So basically, let it dry out all the way through, like go ahead and give it that little bit of a break for the roots, but don't let it stay dry. If it stays dry for too long, you're going to lose some of your bottom leaves on your plant, and you're going to have some brown tips, which I can show you on this guy. You can see that I let him dry out a little bit too much. He's got a brown tip there. A lot like Calathea. They act in the same way, but I think begonias need a little bit more light. That's not to say that they're a hard plant or that they are like an advanced parent plant, but they definitely require a little bit more intense care and maybe more attention to detail and attention to the plant itself, if that makes any sense. So I have been showing you my cane begonias, and now I will show you some of my Rex begonias. I took these in as basically like rehab plants from my work. I'll have to show you one inside because I'm going to tell you the care tips, but it's not going to look like I know how to care for them. But it's just that they were basically dead whenever I brought them home. Here are my Calathea, my humidifier. And there is one of my Rex begonias. This guy I just brought back. He did not have enough light, and now he's starting to shoot up some new leaves. I think that's all of the begonias. Oh, my Griffin begonias, which are doing well over here as well. So this guy is an Hurricane Bay begonia, and you can see that he's got these nasty old leaves and then some beautiful new leaves. But the care is essentially the same, but the biggest thing that I can tell you about these is don't water them from the top. They don't like to get their fuzzy little leaves wet. If you can see on here how fuzzy he is. They don't like it, and that's a lot of what this is. They don't like it whenever there's water sitting on their leaves. Don't know why. I mean, I low-key understand. Hold up, car. Alright. But their care is basically the same. The only thing is don't water them from the top, and they can withstand a little bit of lower light depending on the variety. I've had a couple of Rex begonias that I keep pulled back from my northwestern exposure about 5 or 6 feet, and they're doing really well and they're thriving. I also have them next to my humidifier, so keep that in mind too. Alright, so to summarize, begonias love bright, indirect light. They can withstand a little bit of direct light. They like a lot of humidity, and they like to go dry between waterings, but don't let them stay dry between waterings. And basically, if you do those things, which is what I have been doing, hopefully your begonias will turn out like mine. I keep pointing this way because that's where my begonias are. But yeah, I wish you guys luck, and if you have any other questions, or you found something a little bit different that works for you or your specific environment, leave it down in the comments, because begonias seem to be really hard, but they're so pretty, and everyone needs to have a begonia. So yeah, help your fellow plant community out. So I will see you guys later. Bye.